So my association when I tap this is background noise to him. So every time that I do this, he's associating my voice with this. Heel. And so I'm using it as good. Sit. Good boy. And so I'm using the e-collar as that physical clicker, where when this stimulation happens on a 1, I'm saying something to you. Okay, so just the same theory as when we use a clicker to mark a behavior. So if we're teaching place or we're teaching sit, the dog gets into behavior, we click, yes, reward, or yes, reward, however you want to do it. The clicker is a great tool to be consistent. I find I just lose everything. That's why I don't do clicker training a lot, is because I lose them all the time and I'm not consistent with carrying it with me. So I just do yes as my marker if I'm teaching a specific behavior. And so what I eventually want the e-collar to be is that, so you asked the question about like before or after, same time. So every single time I say his name, I say sit, tap. Same time. Down, tap. Heel, tap. Because again, if we did it after, that would then assume that the e-collar is a correction because he didn't comply. Like if we tell a dog to sit with the prong collar, we don't do it at the same time because that is a correction. We only use the prong collar or the slip collar or the harness after they don't do it, to associate a correction or discipline or pressure for the non-compliance. Does that make sense? Yes. So with this, it's and it's interesting because a lot of people associate this with, you ask the dog to sit and then you're like, oh, I have to use this. That's not the case. You always want to use this as it's your new communication. It's kind of like speaking a new language. The more you do it, the more fluent you become in the communication and in the language. And so all I'm doing is I'm like, hey buddy, this is your new this. This is your click, yes. So in association with me, when this turns on, I want him to do something. And if I do this for a week, 3 times a day, if I say, Elliot, sit, down, stay, heel, sit, down, stay, heel, sit, down, stay, heel, for a week, he's going to know that when this stimulation happens, I want him to do something, And so you got to be, and that's like the thing with dog training is you got to just be realistic. And the sooner that you are realistic, the happier you'll be. Practice, 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 practice. Okay, that's fair. The dog did, understand that it's a positive thing, not a negative thing. So I'm going to do something really quick. So every time I give him food, I'm clicking the e-collar, tapping it. Yes, good boy. Nice job, buddy. Good job, bud. Good boy, buddy. So as soon as he looks away, I'm going to tap the e-collar. And if he looks back, I'm marking. Again, a physical clicker. I love that. He likes these treats. Yes, good. So I clicked, and as soon as he looked at me, I shut it off. Yes, good. I wish you could hear it. There are certain things that you can get to make you hear this, but does that make sense? Okay. So I'm associating the e-collar. Sit. Good. Yes, good. Did you see that?
Yes, and actually that would almost be the primary thing if you go first.
Yep. Yeah.
So that you know that,
Yeah.
that clicker.
Yeah. Yeah. I can use the e-collar as strictly a reward. Tap. Yes. Good. Every time his head goes down, I tap. He looks back up. He gets rewarded. Yes. Good. So I'm using the e-collar to reward him. Okay, so he looks down, I want his focus, he looks back up, the e-collar shuts off, and he gets rewarded. So it's the same association you would use with a tap, tap, yes. Good. Just say his name for me.
Elliot. Elliot.
Tap, tap, yes. Good. So he knows when that tap happens, he's going to get something from me.
Yeah, he wouldn't even come to me at that point.
Right, right. So now I'm going to take it a step further and let him know that those are gone. And then you say his name.
Elliot.
Yes. Good. Again.
Elliot. Elliot.
Yes. Good. Again.
Elliot. Elliot, come. Elliot, come. Again.
Hold on. I'll take this food, and then I'll throw it down. Good. Nice, buddy. Good. Do you understand? It's really nice. Good boy. And so now I've created, I shouldn't say that. I'm starting to create a marker of good behavior wirelessly. Imagine if you could click and reward your dog anywhere on the property that you're training on, how instantaneously rewarding that would be for you and the dog, because you're automatically telling them at perfect timing that the dog had done exactly what you asked, off leash, out of your sight. It's beautiful.
Golden.
Yeah.
Is that what happens? Golden.
Yeah, it's great. And the cool thing is like if he's way off leash, so a lot of people can't get, like if your dog was off leash, a lot of people can't get their dogs to sit when they're that far away. You say, Elliot, sit. A lot of times people can't do that. I always tell people, and I always say that if your dog doesn't know the behavior if the dog doesn't know the behavior that you're asking them that well, then chances are they're definitely not going to do it away from you. 9 times out of 10, we teach dogs behaviors on the leash. Sit, down, stay, heel, whatever. Even like sit pretty. The harder thing to do, or the more difficult thing to do, the more advanced thing to do, is tell that to your dog, or teach that to your dog when they're 30 feet away from you. And it's very hard for 2 reasons. Is you can't give pressure to the dog if they don't do it, and you also can't reward them properly if they do it. And so I don't care if you're a 100% purely positive reinforcement trainer that won't even put a collar on a dog. I can still represent and give my dog currency from a distance faster than you ever could, because I can control my dog and relate to my dog off leash. Right? So it's a better form of training for the dog, because what's going to happen is well, let me show you. Tap, 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 tap. Yes. Good job. Good. So you see you got that. Wait, that's you again. Yeah, buddy. And he's on a 1. Good. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to hold. Good. I'm going to wait. I'm waiting for him to disengage with me before I tap him, because then that makes me look too good. I don't want to do that. I want to be realistic about it. And if he's looking at me as I'm tapping, I can say, look, I did it. The e-collar works. No. Tap. Yes. Good. You see that?
Yep.
I tap. He goes, oh, I'm getting food. Oh, I'm getting food. And so the reason why we use markers, both positive and negative markers, which means negative would be more like nope, no, down, off, bad. Positive verbal markers on a wide spectrum would be yes, good, nice, I like you, who's a good boy, right? The reason why we do that is to get the dog's attention to mark a command, right? So we use a clicker, exactly like I said before. We use a clicker to capture the behavior. So when we tell a dog to sit, and as soon as they do it, we click to say boop, right? And so now I'm just boom every time, boom every time, boom every time, instead of, again, because like if he's off leash and I said, Elliot, sit, and he sat, I couldn't reward him. Couldn't. Even if I ran after him, he 30 seconds later, he's going to be like, did I do it or did I not? But with this, I can simply say, so he really likes the sound of this bag. So I'll just let him chill for a second. And as soon as he looks away, I'm going to tap the e-collar to get his attention. And then I'm going to mark the association of that's you with the food. Ready? Tap. Yes. Good. Beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Good. I'm going to have him look away again. And as soon as he looks away, okay, so I'm just going to give him a break. How you doing, brother?
Good, how are you?
Good, man. Thank you. We'll be with you in a second.
Yeah, no worries.
Cool. So I'm going to do that again. So he kind of looks away. As soon as he looks away, I'm going to tap, like immediately I'm going to tap. And when he looks at me, he's getting rewarded. Yes. Boom. I'm going to do it again. I'm not going to say anything this time. So now this is a little bit more advanced e-collar communicative work. Okay? Yes. Good. Right? So the e-collar turned on a 1, and he goes, oh, that's you.
Yep.
Right? Oh, that's you. You're doing that. Not corrective. He's not jumping. He's not whining. It does not hurt him at all. And it's on a 1. You could put a 1 to your face. I bet you $150,000 you wouldn't feel it. So now we're starting to create this off-leash wireless communication, which is beautiful. Beautiful. Because I can communicate to my dog faster than anybody else without an e-collar. Because you tap, yes, good boy. Right? And so the reward mechanism and just the science of it is beautiful. And again, going back to what I probably said last time is, well then what, because if you're watching somebody like myself do this, the question always comes up of like, if it's such a good tool and it sounds too good to be true, then why are people don't like it? Very simple, because there's people who do it wrong. There's companies who make really cheap, crappy stuff. And there's a lot of people who just don't know anything about them, and they prejudge what we used to do 20 years ago with them.
Yeah, it's taught actually in the opposite of how you're teaching it.
Yes. For the most part.
Almost completely the opposite.
For the most part, yeah. There are people who, so example, there's professional dog trainers that will use escapism with the e-collar strictly, which means, what's that?
What does that mean?
I'm going to tell you. But wait, there's more. Basically, escape training to a dog, and you can do escape training without negative pressure. However, there's people who use like high-level stimulation under escape training, which means if he's way over there, I'll turn it up to a 50, say, Elliot, come, pop. And then as soon as he turns to me, it shuts off. That's what I'm doing, but they're just using too high of numbers. And a lot of times, it's just ignorance. It's people who are looking for the wrong things. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to get out this piece of food very quietly. I'm going to tap this e-collar. What I'm looking for with a dog that understands the e-collar is acknowledgement, not pain. I'm looking for him to go, yes, not why, ouch, right? So people, when they use the e-collar, they're like, it's not working, this thing, my dog's not jumping, and they crank it. And then they get a reaction. That's human society. We want immediate, I hit something, I want that to go, right? So watch what we do here. I'm going to tap. Yes, good. I'm looking for acknowledgement and understanding. There's a lot of people who look for just reaction, and that's why nobody likes them. That's why they're, and the funny thing is I post e-collar videos on YouTube and stuff like that, and people will say, not anymore, because I feel like I'm doing a very good job advocating for them. But still people, even with prong collars and things, will say, they're illegal in Wales, they're illegal in certain parts of Australia, etc. I'm like, you can't take what's legal in other countries and what's not legal in other countries and justify that's the reason why they're illegal is because they're strictly bad. When like I said before, women's rights isn't even a thing in some countries. Like I think one of the Eastern countries just allowed women to drive like this year. You know what I mean? And so for people to say, well, why are they illegal then? I'm like, well, you can't say that because things are, you know what I mean? It's not fair. It's not fair to the dog. It's not fair to trainers such as myself that can change dogs' lives with the e-collar. So I'm going to do it again. Yeah, you're on to me. So do you understand what I'm doing? Okay, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I'm super excited about it. It gets me so jacked up. So he's away, tap, yes, good boy. So I'm using the cool thing is one of my clients said this. I wish I could coin this myself, but she's the one who made it up. She said, she says it's a physical clicker, or it's a clicker with a touch. Yep, that's exactly what it is. So I'm going to do it without food this time so he doesn't hear any bag or anything. You are turning this on. You could get your dog to do anything from a half a mile radius, which is, to me, safe. Oh my gosh. It's safe, it's fun. Tap. Yes, good boy. Well done, buddy. Beautiful. Break.